Yeah, good afternoon, my brothers and sisters out there. Um, Welcome back to Social Problem. I'm here once again to talk about the social problems in our society with the title of today, Social Trauma. Social trauma is what we experience in our societies. Social trauma um, could be the consequences of a social problem that affects a particular society or individual. In a sort of definition, a social trauma is the traumatic consequence of events or situations that are potentially traumatogenic, which involved a community or one's own definable social group, in bracket, family, peer group, etc. etc. I would proceed to say that the term be inclusive of all forms of traumatization that social group experiences, whatever the cause may be. Social trauma, regardless of causes, inflicts states of psychological, emotional, physiological, spiritual, and sociological injuries on the members or a particular individual in a particular society, and in turn get passed down from generation to another generation. Let us spin down on this particular definition and explanation of social problems. If you check through my post in Facebook, in this particular page, social problem page, you will see the social problem in full, and in detail you will see the the will I call it the types or forms of social problems, sorry, of forms of social trauma, or types of social trauma, or causes of social trauma. Read it and you can understand it in your own way. Still talking about these social problems, when you see the types of social trauma in my post few minutes or hours ago, you can see through during my research, I found out that there are so many social problems that could cause or result to a traumatized being. Let me pitch my tent on this particular social problem of rape. For example, rape is a very big social problem which results to social trauma. When someone is raped by a man or a woman, because sometimes we often think that it's only men that rapes women. Women also rape men. So when a lady or a girl or a teenager is being raped by a particular man, it the definitely and automatically the girl has been traumatized, in the sense that stigma can never go out of that particular girl's memory or thinking, or whatever you may call it. This girl will always be traumatized whenever he remembers that particular incident of rape. Many things are involved. This girl, according to my explanation, what social trauma is, it can result to a physiological problem. In the process of rape, a young man or a huge man can disfigure physically that particular lady. Physically. In terms of rape, you can also cause injury on the person's emotion. You can also cause injury on that particular girl's psychology, because you have destroyed the psychology of this particular person. You can also create a very big injury in terms of his or her social background, because seeing others, because assuming the girl had not been deflowered, you have automatically by force deflowered the person. So he or she will never forget that particular incident, and you in particular who forcefully deflowered or disvirgin the particular being. Spiritually, it is said and it is obvious that once you have an intercourse, sexual intercourse in quote, with any person, be it a lady or a man, you have shared a spirit. No one knows the kind of spirit that leads you, or the kind of spirit that is moving you as a being or as an individual. So once you have an intercourse with that person, you have shared a spirit. So that is why the issue of rape has been so pathetic and so problematic to our society. The issue of rape is being heard all over the world, all over the country. We talk about rape here and there. We talk about rape. What could be the causes of this rape? What could be the consequences of this rape? If you check a particular society, we can find out that the issues of rape could be caused or could be instigated by the influence of indecent dressing, use of hard drugs, alcoholism, name them. There are so many and so forth that can cause or can create this scenario of rape. So what are the possible means or possible solutions to avoid rape? 1. Decent dressing. I will say decent dressing because in our society today, you can see most of our ladies half naked. When you go half naked, definitely you are threatening rape. Woe betide you when you meet a man or a young guy who is under the influence of hard drug, unable to control himself, and being it in a particular lonely place, there is the possibility or a possibility that you could be raped. Indecent dressing can occur in many ways. Some of you go half naked, you wear the clothes that are so much attractive that can show your curvy bodies and show your private parts in the public. You are attracting rape because there are so much young men who are influenced or possessed by the spirit of Asmodeus. Asmodeus spirit means the spirit is an evil spirit. Let me put it like that you hardly see anything that is under the skirt or under the pants without being moved or without being aroused. Anything that calls woman must get you aroused. That is a spirit of Asmodeus. There are so many men there or so many ladies there who are possessed by this spirit of Asmodeus. They can come across you, woe betide you, you are indecently dressed. So, my brothers and sisters out there, in order also to avoid this rape case, we parents or you parents out there, as the case may be, teach your kids, your daughters, your daughter or your daughters or your boys, sons, or your how will I put it, any kid that you are in charge of, try to educate him or her the necessary things that he or she ought to know and he or she ought not to know. Do not hide some teachings, some things to him or her. We call it sex education. Teach them the appropriate sex education which they should know in order to avoid the issue of rape. Because the more you hide your daughters at the back of the door, you don't want them to know what sex is, especially those that are at the age of teenage stage. Teenage stage, you hide so many things. You don't want to teach them the things that are obtainable, the do's and don'ts about sex education. Definitely, once you go out, they might try to attempt it. Who is losing? Who is at danger? Viewers out there, social trauma could be caused by rape, and there is nothing so painful and disastrous than the trauma caused by rape. Because once you are raped, being a young girl, you are raped by a particular man. Some are being raped by their father, some are being raped by the drivers in the house, some are being raped by the maids in the house. Once that incident occurs in your life, you can never forget that, and you will be traumatized forever in your life. So in order to run away from this particular social trauma, we should know what is right to be done. We should avoid the occasions of this rape. We should avoid the scenarios of this rape. We should avoid. In short, let us stop exposing ourselves for rape cases. There are different kinds of rape. We all could know, we all couldn't know about it. So I am here to talk about this particular social trauma caused by this particular social problem, rape. It's a very, very dicey situation in our society today. So what can we do about it? We have to educate people. We have to educate our brothers. We have to educate our sisters. We have to create awareness about it. Though awareness has been created, awareness is being created, awareness will continue to be created. We continue creating awareness about this social problem. Social problems are not new in our society. They are things that we know. They are things we have known. They are things we continue knowing in our lives, and we continue experiencing it. So in order to solve this kind of problems, we need to be educated. we need to have the basic educations in our lives. We need to have the dealings of a human being, because some of us, we behave like the lower animals while we are the higher animals. We neglect the things that we ought to do. We neglect ethics in our lives. Ethics are being going into extinction in our society. The things that matters are not being talked about. The things that matters, that are being trampled upon, and the things that cause harm are the ones that we copy and emulate. I remain your brother, the Imago Dei, the image of God. Subscribe to our YouTube channels. You will see our YouTube channels. Contact Steve Social Pro. Like our page, share our page, watch our videos and our teachings on YouTube, and contact us personally. You write us private messages there in our page. You can see a space for private message. You can send us message. You can send us email in our email. You can send us email reducesocialproblems@gmail.com. You can contact us in Messenger through via the group. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channels. Thank you and God bless you. Have a nice day.